Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Secrets of a Witch podcast with me, Sabrina Scott, where I talk all about life, love, healing, witchcraft, magic, tarot, mediumship, and lately, feminine energy, and of course, everything in between. And so today, I guess I wanted to go on a little bit of a rant. Apologies somewhat, I guess, kind of in advance. But I don't know, I think it's really important. And so during this Magic Without Bullshit launch, one of the things I was reflecting on was how I even started on this journey, right? So y'all may not know, I used to be a professor at the best art school in the country. My West Coast folks might debate me on that, but I think we can kind of, most of us agree that the School for Design in Toronto is like the best. And so anyway, I was a professor there for 4 years. I designed curriculum. I designed courses that were required for first and second year students. And I was a professor. I taught both studio and theory. And I taught in the second largest auditorium in the entire school, dealing with at times 25 students in my smaller classes of studio. And then with my big ass lecture-based courses, sometimes classes as big as like 150 students. And so I remember I quit eventually. And I was reflecting on this morning as I've just been reflecting on where I want my business to go, where it's been in the past, like where I see myself going in the future. And I realized, wow, I quit that professor job after 4 years. And I remember feeling like, to be honest with you, a little bit bored. You know, I taught the exact same thing, year in, year out. Yes, I designed it. The curriculum was like airtight. It was so good. And obviously it's going to be a little bit different from year to year as the students change, as things happening in the world are going to be changing. And so the conversations that happen in the classroom, of course, were very different. But I also felt myself feeling like a broken record and just feeling, honestly, just not intellectually stimulated, not creatively stimulated, and ready for a new adventure. So after 4 years, I fucking quit. I was like, all right, whatever. And so I decided to, in 2019, launch an online course business, which is probably where a lot of y'all know me from, right? So I launched my first online course, Tarot Without Bullshit, in 2019, and I launched my second one, which is my biggest one, Magic Without Bullshit, in 2020. And so it's been running for 2020, 2021, 2022, and now 2023 is the 4th year of Magic Without Bullshit. And I've been thinking like, oh my God, how much longer do I want to offer the group coaching component for this, right? How much longer do I really want to do that? And it's been so interesting because as I've chatted with some folks, and I'm not putting anyone in particular on blast, this is an attitude that I've seen over the years, and it's something I've talked with other course creators and other small business owners about. But one objection, I guess, that I've heard from some people is like, you know what? I'm just going to do it next time. I'll do it later. I'll take the course next time. I'll take the course later, whatever. And I just wanted to unpack this because honestly, I think it's total bullshit for a bunch of different reasons. And so let me explain why. And so someone DM'd me and was like, you really chose violence today. And it's like, yeah, well, maybe I have. And I just want to fucking talk about it because it's something that honestly pisses me off as a human. It pisses me off as a business owner, but it also pisses me off just like as a person in the world who, first of all, understands human psychology, and second of all, I've devoted my life to helping people evolve and helping people change. And so that attitude of, I'll just do it later, I'll just do it another time, it is, especially if it's not a financial objection, like people can afford it, they're just being lazy or they're just like putting it off. It's so interesting to me because it is like this anti-growth kind of behavior. And maybe the first time I offered it, okay, whatever. There was another time, but now that I'm 4 years in to doing group coaching for Magic Without Bullshit, like, I'm kind of like, maybe I want to start offering different things. Like, there is no guarantee that there will be another group coaching offering for Magic Without Bullshit. Like, there's a very high chance in the future that it will just be, honestly, just self-study, or like self-study plus like only 6 coaching sessions or something like that, right? So I think it's so interesting, and it's not me saying that as like a sales tactic. Like, it really truly isn't, because as I've said, I fucking quit the teaching job at the university 4 years in. I wanted a new adventure. I wanted a new challenge. I'm a Sagittarius, I'm a fire sign. I am a creative person at my core. And honestly, the idea of hell to me is doing the exact same thing every day, doing the exact same thing year in, year out. It honestly, that sounds to me absolutely terrible. And it's not what I'm interested in this life. Like, I want to keep evolving. I want to keep changing. I want to keep creating new offerings and new opportunities and different type of things. And so the idea that there will always be a next time, I'll just do it next time, I'll take the course next time, I'll take the group coaching next time. It's so interesting because it's quite presumptuous, and it's also quite entitled, right? It's entitled that, oh, this course creator, this content creator, this teacher, or this mentor, or whatever will always be available. That this will always be available whenever I happen to get my shit together, or whenever I decide I'm finally ready, that will always be available. But that's actually not fucking true. Like, in any industry, it's not true. Like, I remember when I was an undergraduate student at the design school, like, some of the programs there were discontinued. Like, I think ceramics was discontinued as a major. And so, if someone was just saying, oh yeah, I'll take ceramics as a major next year, I'll take it in 5 years, I need to save up first, that person lost their fucking chance. They can't take ceramics at the best design school in the country anymore. It's a program that is now dead. It's gone. And I think people forget that things fucking change. I'm a small business. Other people who are mentors and teachers are small businesses as well. The university system is a business, and we change. The market changes, our interests change, our identity changes. Like, speaking of the university that I went to for my undergrad, and I also used to be a professor at, that switched at one point from a college to a university. And so their identity as an institution shifted. And because of that, the offerings shifted. Because of that, the pricing shifted, right? And so this idea that everything will always be exactly as it is just incorrect. And so whenever I hear people say, oh, I'll do it next time, I'll take the group coaching next time, like, what that really says is that you take me for granted, you take my offerings for granted, that they will always be there. And it's just not true. They might not be. Like, I'm not going to do this, but I could decide to just like completely close the business tomorrow and move on to something else. People do that all the time. A lot of people pivoted during the pandemic. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of small businesses closed. Some of my favorite restaurants in the city closed, unfortunately. I've seen a lot of shift and a lot of movement, and I think that's completely normal. I've got a tattoo on one of my knees, and it's a compass, and it says, things change. But if you read it the other way, it says, change things. And I love that, because I feel like that double movement really is what life is all about, right? Things are always changing. And we also have the ability to change things in our lives. It's huge. And so coming back to this idea that, I'll do it next time, it's like, if people have been watching my business and watching my courses and watching Magic Without Bullshit launch after launch after launch over 4 years, and if you're still telling yourself, I'll do it next time, I think it's time, if this is you, and like, I don't want to put anyone on blast, but like, I think if this is you, it's really time to take a look at yourself and be like, what are my priorities? Is this something I actually am serious about learning? Because at 4 years, it's like almost half a decade. So if you're listening to this and you've been creeping my Magic Without Bullshit course for 4 years and you're still on the fence, I would ask yourself, if I was you, I would ask yourself, like, does that stagnant, hesitant, untrusting behavior serve you? And it shows a lack of trust in yourself. It shows like a lack of, I don't think it shows necessarily a lack of trust in me, but it's like a lack of trust in yourself to make the right decision for yourself. A lack of trust in your own ability to make a bold choice, take a risk, and commit to learning something that is going to change your life. It's one of the things I always ask people is like, well, what if you did start 4 years ago? What if you did hop into the first group coaching cohort for Magic Without Bullshit? Well, I can tell you right now, it would have cost like a third of the price that it does now. And I can also tell you that you would have gotten like 2 years of group coaching as opposed to 6 months, which is what I'm offering right now. Will I ever offer 2 years again? No, I won't, right? Offerings are always changing. And so if you are one of those people that was like, I'll do it next time, you lost out on that opportunity. That's just how it is. And so I think it's a fallacy, it's a mistake in life that I think people make to think that something will always be available. People make this mistake in their relationships all the time, right? They take their lovers for granted. They take their partners for granted, that they'll always be there, you know? And then they take their husband for granted, their wife for granted. And then lo and behold, there's a divorce. People are cheating because they don't feel fulfilled. They feel taken for granted, that they'll always be there no matter what. But it's not true, right? Like if we don't water a plant, it will die. It will not always be there. We can say the same about our climate. We can say the same about the earth, the health of the earth. Right now in Toronto, as I'm recording this, I actually wore like an N95, like one of those like ones that vacuum seals to your face, like the particle respirators, to go outside to get my coffee and a few groceries because the air quality is like the third worst in the world right now. You know, we take for granted that our air will always be safe to breathe. We take for granted that our water will always be safe to drink. We take for granted that the plants outside will always grow, no matter what we do. We take it for granted. And I think in moments like this, like let's say these wildfires all over Canada, which is making New York City have the worst air quality in the world right now. Again, Toronto, where I am, third or fourth worst in the world for these harmful particles that there's no safe level to breathe them in, right? Like I went outside, my eyes were stinging. We take it for granted and we get complacent that things will always be how they are. And I bring this into the conversation because I think it's important. I think it's two sides of the same coin. And I think this attitude of complacency that people have towards the environment, towards having healthy, safe water and air to drink and to breathe, people take it for granted. And I think it can be that attitude, that complacent attitude. People are complacent in their lives as well. Complacent that their partner will always be there even if they treat them like shit. Complacent that their partner will always be there even if, I don't know, you kind of ignore them or you don't take their needs seriously. Or you work like too long and like never come home and whatever. There's complacency. There's a taken for granted. And then something leaves, something changes because that person's like, you know what, this is not for me anymore. And this happens all the time. I've seen it. Like it's a very common thing that I read tarot for clients about this type of situation. And so again, just to relate that to my offering for Magic Without Bullshit, like it kind of maddens me when people just say, I'm not going to sign up this time because I know you'll always be offering it and I'll just get it next time. And there's some folks who have said this to me for like 4 years. And on one hand, I'm like, you do you, boo. But on the other hand, I'm like, just admit that you don't want to learn magic that badly. Just admit that you're okay living complacently. Just admit that you're okay not taking a risk. Just admit that you're not serious about up-leveling and upskilling yourself with magic. Just admit it. It's not a crime. But just stop lying to yourself that you actually give a fuck about learning magic if you have not taken steps forward to actually do something about it. You know what I mean? It's wild. It's wild. So all that to say, this course will not be offered in the exact same way that is offered now again. I can make no guarantee about that. Because after 4 years, now it's 4 years of Magic Without Bullshit, I want to start expanding my offerings and expanding my teaching into other areas. Will Magic Without Bullshit always be available self-study? Absolutely. But the group coaching component, I can make no guarantee on that, and I can guarantee that this is the last time I'll be doing it in this iteration with so much access to me. Period. And so if you're on the fence, really, like, honestly look at yourself and decide, like, why am I being so complacent? Why am I not taking the leap after 4 years? It's 4 years. It's not like I just launched it last year. So it's interesting, right? Obviously, it's a free country. You can do whatever the fuck you want at the end of the day. But I just feel like it is so important for me to name these dynamics that I'm observing, because they are rampant. And it's not just about me thinking about my courses and my bottom line. Obviously, I run a business, so I'm always going to be thinking about that. But my business is based on helping people. My business is based on me wanting to help give you the tools to change your life. My business is about creating space for you to become the next more evolved, more intuitive, more spiritual, more grounded, more confident version of yourself. That is what I spend my life doing. And it would be a lie. I feel like it would be neglectful for me not to name this dynamic that I am observing in some folks. And it's not even just with me. I've talked to other course creators about this. It's a thing that I've seen in the industry. And it's also a thing that I've seen, again, in regards to how people deal with their marriages, how people deal with their friendships, how people deal with the relationship to the earth and the climate. As, again, I'm like in wildfire central with like the third worst air quality in the world right now here in Toronto. And I really do think this idea that I'll do it next time, I'll do it next time, I'll do it next time, it doesn't serve anybody. It doesn't serve anybody. One of the things that I've learned in this process of spiritual growth, personal growth, emotional growth, up-leveling, healing trauma, is that we can only talk and think for so long before we actually have to take action and fucking do something. We can read as much books as we want about healing trauma and like healing from narcissists and like whatever the fuck. We can read as many books about like how to do magic as we want. But at the end of the fucking day, if we're not taking action, if we are not like literally making actions, trying things, doing things, taking a course, committing, getting coaching, like you're not actually really moving the needle in your own life. And I think it's important that whoever you are, if that is you, you take responsibility for that. You know? And like, I get it. There's definitely some areas of my life where I need to move the needle on more than I have been. So like, I hear you. I know my accountant is looking at me right now, side eye. So I get it. But I think it's important. And I really think that taking action is the only way out of stagnation. It's the only way out of complacency. And I think I'm just feeling so fucking, like, I don't know, activated about this right now because it just hit me this morning that I've been doing magic without bullshit. This is the 4th year. What the fuck? And that to me is, like, insane. Like, where does the time go? Like, I didn't even realize that I've been doing this course for so long. 4 years. That's crazy. And so it also it lights the fire up under my ass to create more. And also it lights the fire up under my ass to remind you, whoever the hell you are, that the world's always changing. At least we also should always be changing. But if you're on the fence about magic without bullshit, if you have been like creeping my courses or my work for a while and you haven't taken action on that, how much longer will you wait? How much longer will you say, I'll do it tomorrow? If you signed up 4 years ago, you would be fucking more skilled than you are now. I'll tell you that right now. And you would have gotten like 2 years of coaching, but now you are going to get 6 months if you sign up. So that's something to think about, you know. And as I think about my own trajectory as a teacher, as a thinker, as a creator, you know, I am also going to always be evolving with my offerings. And so this is the last time that Magic Without Bullshit in the group coaching iteration that I'm offering right now will be offered. So jump the fuck in if you're on the fence. If you've been thinking about it for a while, it is time. The time is now. And stop thinking that things will always be available. Like, it honestly is a very toxic way to see the world. It's a toxic way to see other people, because it's based on a lie, like, it's really important to appreciate and have gratitude for things that exist, whether that is clean air, clean water, whether that is a good friend, a loyal lover, a good husband, a good wife, whether that is your mentor, your therapist, your doctor, your tarot coach, your magic coach. Things change. And it's also up to us to change things, to change our lives, to take action. And if you guys know me, I'm always growing, I'm always evolving, I'm always expanding. And so if I do the same thing every single fucking day for a million years, I'm going to get bored. Which I think is normal. So with all that rant out of the way, I will invite you to check out Magic Without Bullshit. You can read more about it, magicwithoutbullshit.com. If you got any questions at all whatsoever, please send me an email, ceo@sabrinamscott.com. I know I sounded feisty on this podcast episode. This is like years of like rants that I've held back, that I've shared with other course creators and other spiritual teachers online, including some folks you may or may not have heard of, who I will allow to remain nameless for the time being. But this is something I've been thinking about for a really long time. And so I'm just going to call you the fuck out if this is you. You know what I mean? For your own benefit. My courses are called Without Bullshit, and I feel like as my audience has grown over the past few years, I've definitely toned my without bullshitness down a little bit, which isn't to say I let in any bullshit. I don't, but I've definitely been a bit less like bombastic and opinionated in public. So now, guess what? Here I am being opinionated. So take it or leave it. This is my rant. If you feel called out, journal about it. But I do hope that you join up Magic Without Bullshit. This is probably the last time I'll be offering the group coaching, group support in this way, where you will get 6 months of live Zoom calls with me. So it's 12 Zoom calls once every 2 weeks. I can't imagine myself offering this again, honestly. It's going to be very labor intensive and a lot of work for me, a lot of energy for me, a lot of support that I'll be giving you. In addition to that, there will be the group chat on Telegram, Facebook group to chat about other stuff in more long format as well. If you've got any questions, again, ceo@sabrinamscott.com. Any questions about the course, I'll probably answered on magicwithoutbullshit.com, but of course, just pop me an email if you want to get into it a little bit more, or if you need a specialized to your exact situation payment plan. Okay, friends, that's it for now. Catch you on the flip side. Bye.